For almost 80 years, most Americans never had to think about the machinery that holds the world together, right? It's just simply there. The dollar has dominated global finance. NATO has kept Europe stable. The United States Navy protected shipping lanes that carry 40% of global trade. The UN gave hostile powers a place to negotiate before they reached for weapons. The World Trade Organization created rules for global commerce. The International Monetary Fund stepped in when economies collapsed to stop financial contagion from jumping borders. And all of this was intentionally created in 1945. After 2 world wars in a single generation, after entire cities were erased, after tens of millions of people were killed, and after mankind had built weapons that were capable of ending all life on Earth, the people that were rebuilding the world made a cage to contain the chaos because they understood that incentives had to change. If major powers were economically tied together, militarily aligned, and constantly negotiating across formal institutions, the cost of war would just be too catastrophic to risk casually. Countries that depend on global trade would think twice before blowing up the system that fed their economies. Nations embedded in alliances would have stronger deterrence against expansionist rivals. Countries that were sitting across negotiating tables would have more options than tanks and missiles when crises erupted. And for 8 decades, despite proxy wars and coups and nuclear standoffs, it largely succeeded at its central mission: no direct war between the world's major powers since World War II. That's the system that they say Trump is destroying. Losing it, despite all of its many flaws, would genuinely be catastrophic. And I'm guessing a lot of you are thinking, really? Those flaws are crippling the American worker. And it's true that because of this post-war order, factories left, manufacturing moved to China, entire towns hollowed out. The national debt exploded. And 3 events in the 21st century did structural damage to the system that it just never fully recovered from. And none of it started with Trump, because the world order was already losing moral authority, economic credibility, and the unity of purpose among major powers that made the whole thing enforceable. Once those eroded, the institutions built to uphold the order, well, they started hollowing out too. Countries stopped deferring to American leadership. Rivals started testing boundaries they once left alone. Allies started hedging their bets. The rules didn't disappear overnight, but the will and the credibility to enforce them did. And a system that can't enforce its own rules isn't really a system anymore. It's a suggestion. All right, guys, if you like this clip and you want to watch the full episode, click here. And if you want more content like this, you can subscribe to the show by clicking here.